Hello everyone, today I have a pony commentary. This is Murphy. Winston's gone out on break for the school holidays. We are now in school holidays, and so yeah, he's being used for the eventing camp, but I think that will be good so he can kind of recharge his batteries. Anyway, so let's get right into it. So guys, we haven't seen Murphy for a really long time. Basically he's just a pony, and that's pretty much all you need to know about him. He can get a little bit reluctant to go forward and kind of just sometimes shows that typical pony attitude, but once you break through that, he's great. He's a fun pony to ride. And yeah, so let's take note right now just so we can come back to it later. You can see his trot is quite locked. He's not really kind of very mobile. He's not really moving about. This ride, all I'm concerned about is stop, go, turn. That is literally it. I don't want a frame. I don't want flexion. I just want him to go, to stop, and to turn when I say so. Bringing it back and stripping it back to the basics. That's really important, and I feel like we were just changing stirrups here, but stripping that back to basics for him becomes a much more enjoyable ride. So we were trotting here, and as you can see too, my position the whole ride is trying to get him to want to move forward, to enjoy what he's doing. So I'm not concerned really about my upper body position, and it's quite atrocious, and the jacket doesn't really help either. It kind of makes it look worse. But all I'm concerned about is keeping this horse happy. And you'll see within like the first 10 minutes, when we ask for a little bit more, he gets a bit attitudey, but then when we break through that, he's really good and he travels forward. And I hope you guys can really see that difference. Now, what's very important for Murphy too is I like to make sure that when I ask him to come down transition, he doesn't shut down. He needs to keep moving. So keeping him active, I suppose. So we change the rein here. Bit of a rising diagonal struggle. So I'm pretty sure, now what I'm trying to do is trying to quicken my stride a little bit. Doesn't necessarily have to be faster, it just has to be that I don't have to ask as much. So I'm clicking with my voice going, ask for canter, perfect. So we got the right lead there, that was great. And you can, obviously can't see on camera, but I'm saying good boy, because I'm trying to really encourage that so that he is enjoying what he's doing. And you'll see throughout the ride, he starts to enjoy it a lot more. So I'm pretty sure here, maybe there's another circle. So we come back to trot, and I don't want him to die down. So I tap, and he bucks, and I tap again, and he bucks, and he tap again, and he bucks, and he bucks, and he bucks. And what I do, typically with horses who show a bit of attitude when they get asked to do something with the whip, with ponies, I don't whip them, I just tap them. And like I've spoken about this before, but I don't engage in being angry or being frustrated. All I do is I keep tapping until they do what I ask. So when he was bucking, I just kept tapping, and as soon as he stopped bucking, I stopped tapping, and I let him go forward, and I gave him heaps of reward. So we had our canter there. Nice canter lead, and you can see too, I've got my hands forward. I don't really have too much contact with the rein because I don't want to give him any impression that I want him to die off. And like I said, just going straight back to basics. I just want him to go, I want him to stop, and I want him to turn. So I'm pretty sure here we get another little, maybe not. So here now, after we've kind of done that little bit of a canter, I feel like he's gotten a little bit more elastic, he's a bit more mobile, and he's moving forward. And you can see too, there was a big change there where when I asked him to come back to trot, he died off. I quickly applied both legs nice and sharply, and he moved on, and now he's walking, I suppose, a bit with energy, and he's not dying off, which is what I'm trying to achieve. It's important too, I think with horses when you're working them and they don't really want to participate in what you're doing, I think it's very important that if you're, say for example, just having a little bit of a break, just walking around, there still needs to be an aim. There still needs to be something you're trying to achieve. So for me right now, all I'm trying to achieve is a horse who is in front of the leg. And I feel like we get that throughout the ride. I think that he becomes quite forward, which is nice. I think we ask for trot again. Hopefully. And you can see too, I'm not too sharp when I'm applying my aid. I'm kind of nudging and encouraging because I want it to be an enjoyable experience for him. We got the wrong lead, So we had a bit of a canter lead issue here. Then we just tried again. Bing, bing, bing. Maybe not. Did we try again? We get the wrong one again. So what I did there too is I didn't bring him back immediately because being forward was becoming an issue. I didn't want to quickly say, actually, no, you have to stop. So when he got the wrong lead, I let him go for a few strides, then I brought him back and tried to apply the canter aids at a point where I felt like his shoulder was in the right place and I felt like he enjoyed it. You can see me there, I'm patting him, and all I wanted was a circle from him. I just wanted to be able to reward him for getting the right canter lead, and then I wanted to leave him alone. And I'm seriously, here we have a little buck again. So then I just keep tapping, keep going. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I try and keep my hands forward. We got the wrong canter lead again, but I didn't bring him back sharply because he had gone when I asked him to, but he didn't get the right canter lead. So that's one ingredient in the recipe that was missing. So I brought him back to trot and I asked him to canter again. But I think whenever you have those little bucks, all I do, my number one rule, don't get engaged in the anger. Just sit there, laugh about it. You can see me too. I laugh about it when when a little pony bucks under me. I think it's quite funny, to be honest, and I try and laugh about it. I try and make fun of it, and I just keep tapping the whip until they decide they want to partake in what I'm asking them to do. So yeah, had a little bit of a walk around, gave him a long rein, and you can see now too, he's much more elastic in his legs. He's moving about, I feel like, much nicer, and he's just enjoying life a little bit more. So our canter here, we're now going right. Excellent, nothing special here. All I wanted to do was encourage him to go forward. I just wanted him to kind of stretch his legs. And once you kind of break that barrier of, I think we came back to trot. Yeah, once you break that barrier of, that little bit of attitude and that little bit of that, your horse has so much fun. And I'm not sure, I certainly felt the difference within the first 10 minutes of the ride compared to now. He was actually enjoying himself. I felt like he was actually wanting to go forward. So I feel like when you kind of attack those pony attitudes or those little bucks and things, we did like a tight circle here because when I asked him to walk, he shifted all his body weight towards the gate. So I just did a tight circle to the right to reinforce my outside rein. Asked him to canter, I'm pretty sure. No, didn't ask him to canter. But you can see now the huge difference in his trot. Before it was locked, before it was compact. Now he's stretching out. He's got his neck is a bit like elongated, I suppose, and he's just moving, and you can see the difference there. That was within the first 5 minutes of our ride. You can see the difference in how tight he is and how locked he is compared to how he is now, where he's quite elastic. So I just went up into my 2-point / light seat, and I just tried to let him travel underneath me, and I suppose give him a chance to push the energy on his own without me having to push him with a rise or with any encouragement from my seat. So I went into 2-point so that he could kind of travel underneath me, and he seemed happy. As soon as I went to 2-point, you can see his ears are going forward. He seems happy. Asked for canter. Perfect. So our canter lead issue is gone. We're not getting wrong canter leads anymore, which is great. I brought him back to trot. Cool. Asked him to canter again, ding ding ding. So his canter transitions have gotten quite good, and now he's picking them up. I don't have to do lots of strides to ask for it. He's doing it when I tell him, which is great. I'm pretty sure we come back to trot. Yep. And I really hope you guys can see the difference in when you attack those pony attitude problems with not anger or with force, and you kind of laugh about it, but you give them a bit of reverse psychology that, oh, if I move off, she'll stop tapping me with the whip. Anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you a bit of an insight of maybe how to ride some of the horses that you want to ride. And I'll see you next week for next week's video. Thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Goodbye.